Alright, welcome back to another video by Firestarter Graphics and Engineering. This is chapter 4 of the SketchUp for Engineers, and today we're going to be drawing a gearbox. Now every time I do this, and I've drawn this part probably about 10-15 times, I always forget that this flange also exists on the other side. I always forget that. So hopefully today I can include it. First things we need to notice, it's in inches, and the material is cast alloy, so at the end we can do some basic mass evaluation and figure out what the mass of this object is. If you don't remember how to find mass, go back to your density equation and go from there. Now, before we begin, one thing I do want to say is I am an engineer and I am CSWP certified for SolidWorks, but I do use SketchUp Pro a lot. I do find certain things with it easier than SolidWorks. However, with that said, I still love my SolidWorks. I still love Inventor, Fusion 360, Pro Engineer, Creo, all those parametric industrial grade products. Now, why do I like them so much? Because they can do things that SketchUp just can't do at the moment. For example, it may be easier to sketch in SketchUp, but the things in SolidWorks that you can do, such as finding stresses and evaluate for strengths and weaknesses, mass evaluation such as center of gravity of a part, the mass moments of inertia of a complicated part, it does all the math for you, and SketchUp doesn't have any of that. So I mean, SketchUp's great for illustration and visual purposes, especially for architecture. Really good for architecture. But for designing a transmission, visually, yes, you can see the gears and it would be great for that. But mathematically and mechanically, to say, hey, if you design this part, right here could be a problem, you know, you might want to consider using either a different material or chamfering in a different way so that strength is increased, and, well, not necessarily increased, that you don't have these weak spots on the metal and things like that. It just, SketchUp doesn't do that. But anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and move forward with our part. I'm going to try to go through this at a decent speed, but not to try to get you guys lost. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about how we're going to design this part. I always start with the bottom, and then in one flat piece, cut these slots out and then extrude it to the 1/4 inch, and then I draw this plate on here. Not necessarily plate, the rectangular shape, offset it where I need to. Now notice this is a 1/4 inch offset here, but 0.375 offset here. I will snooze this. Anyways, gotta love Windows updates. Anyways, and then we will pull this square piece up, and then that's where we'll end for part 1. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this piece out. It's 2.625 by 6 inches in length. Now, you can use the line tool or the rectangular tool, and I think it's length and then width. So we know it's 6.00, comma 2.625, I think. Yes. Okay, one thing you need to know is when you first open SketchUp, on mine, I am modeling in meters, decimal, triple odd. Now the reason why is because we're going to need solid tools, so we're going to need to model big, do our work, so that we don't run into that tiny face issue, and then scale it down at the end. No big deal. Okay, so one little trick I want to show you, and then I'm going to let you figure out a few things on your own. I'm going to pause it and then let you guys try to figure it out. I'm going to show you how to use the arc tool to create these rounds right here, and it needs to be 1/4 inch. So hit A, type in 48 for sides, hit enter, then just pick anywhere, run along here. Now when it turns magenta, it'll say tangent to edge, double click it. Okay, now you're wondering, okay, that's not a 1/4 inch. That's okay. Click the radius, the actual curve right up here, type in 0.25 in entity info to the right. There you go. Okay, now hit A, come down here in the corner and double click. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Double click. Double click. And if you select it, it will keep the 0.25 meters. So just a little tip. Now I'm going to let you guys go ahead and draw in the slots. Okay, so I went ahead and finished drawing the slots and then pulled this up. I don't know how you guys did it, but all I did was draw in a guide that was 1/2 inch in, half an inch down, drew this slot in, and then used the copy move tool to bring it down here, and highlighted these and did a copy move to mirror it over here, and then I did the extrusion very last. So that's how I did it. Anyway, alright, let's move to the next section. It is this rectangular piece right here. Now remember the offset, we can't use the offset tool because it's different offsets all the way around, but we can use the tape measure tool. So let's go ahead, and we notice right here it's about the center, and it's 4 inches and 3.5 high, and it's also the same width, so 2.625 by 4. So that's important to remember. So hit T, go along this face to right there with the tape measure. Do the same thing on this one, and hit R. Now in the bottom left corner, you'll notice that it says hit Control to draw about its center. If you can't see that, also you can go down to the instructor where it will tell you modifier keys. So let's go back. I like that up there. So highlight till it says intersection, hit Control, then remember it's going to be 6.00, nope, 4.00, comma 2.625. Okay, now let's worry about our offsets. So we know from here it's 0.375. Same with this one, 0.375. And this one is 1/4 inch, 0.25. Okay, R for rectangle. Just do it not about the center on this one. Well, you can go from here to here, but it doesn't matter as long as you fill it in. Now, before we even extrude that, the radiuses are 1/4 inch here on the outside, but 0.15 inches on the inside. So, arc tool, make sure it's 48 sides. It is. Down in the bottom right hand corner you'll see that, but on my screen you will not, but on yours you will. So the same thing, click here, tangent, double click, and it did not do it for some reason. There we go. Probably clicked too fast. So 0.15, hit enter, it'll readjust it, hit A for arc, double click the corner, right there, right there. And then we can come up to here, double click. Actually, you know what, let's just do it once. Change this to 0.25. Okay. Now hit A, and it should, I hope, remember the larger number. Okay, one last thing is you'll notice this section right here. We need to take the eraser tool and just erase this little line right there. Okay. And then how high does it need to be pushed up? 3.5. Okay. And then we're going to push this up 3.5. Control Shift E. Zoom extends. Let's go to Edit, Delete Guides, and we're good. Alright, that is where we're going to leave off for part 1. One extension you could install is called, he has 2 of them. His name is Fredo, and it's either Fredo Corner or Fredo's Round Corner, but it allows you to do rounded corners. And do I have that? Let's see. I really thought I did. Let's see, is it this one? Yes, it's Fredo Corner. So, okay, I need to upgrade it. But what you'll do is you'll click on this and just say select the corners, and so you select the edges, and it will allow you to select a bunch of edges at once, and you hit apply, and it'll go through and chamfer them. So I just haven't updated it in a bit because I don't always need it. So that's where we're going to leave off with this part. The next part, we'll start putting these little holes in here, and then drawing this flange, and I'll show you how to do this fillet by hand. So you could also use Fredo Corner, but I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. It's pretty cool. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.